Hello, hello, hello. I don't know what just happened or why that was really bizarre. Looks like my camera was unplugged. I don't know why it came unplugged. Huh. Was unplugged. Plug it back in or select a different camera. Oh, I actually had to shut it off. Hey, Mother Goose, thanks for coming in. I hope that it is that you enjoy yourself and you find that you learn something here. Hey, Panthera. Hey, Rody Gale. Hey, Cool Gamer. So, what did I tell you all this weekend? I told you that, yes, Izzy. Hey, Frazzled Mom. Hey, Toy. So, hey, Jen. Oh, you know who I saw? Sorry, I have to say hi to everybody because I feel like I would want to be noticed, So one thing I want to talk about is I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't know that much about Crystal Rogers' case. However, you are, Izzy. This poor family what I do know is that they have needed justice now for 5 years. It does look like everybody has suspected that, I don't know how to say his last name, I'm not good with names, Brooks Hulk, something like that, he was the boyfriend allegedly of Crystal and was the last person to see her on July 3rd. And it's been longer than 5 years, like 7, July 3rd, 2015. So she was last seen. I want to run over her case. She was last seen on July. How about I share that with you so you guys can see it? Hey, Pointer Lover. What did I tell you guys this weekend? That there was big things coming this week. I just felt like there were so many cases, and then now cases are coming out that I didn't even think, like this came out of nowhere. That this breakthrough. Hey, Mama Bear. Yeah, Mother Goose. I started to a little bit. I will, Izzy. Hey, S. Hockett. Okay, so she was last seen on July 3rd, 2015. The next day, her car was found on the side of Bluegrass Parkway with her purse, phone, and keys still inside. My good Lord, this feels like we keep seeing this in all these cases. But there was no sign of the mother of 5. Oh, my gosh. Okay. So let's look at this. The FBI is searching now the Bardstown farm where she was last seen alive. I don't believe, from what I've read, that this is the first time they've searched this area, but I know that they've searched multiple places of this Brooks several times. So, but I don't necessarily know if it's this area. Let's see what we got here.
It's my first Diwali.
Oh, sorry about the end, y'all.
But I will always remember Ajit.
FBI agents searching for answers to what happened to Crystal Rogers. The investigation underway at the family farm of the main suspect in her disappearance.
This is such a big day for us. It's such a hard day. Gosh, it's very hard.
And that's our top story today at 4. Right now, FBI agents are at a Nelson County farm searching for Bardstown mom Crystal Rogers, who disappeared more than 7 years ago.
WDRB's Joel Skipper is live from the farm where the search is underway. Joel?
That search warrant was executed this morning here at the Houck family farm in Bardstown. Take a look behind me. You can see some police vehicles and FBI vehicles still here. Earlier today, we were allowed farther back on the property, but we are.
Is he out? My kids are probably lagging. I will watch that.
Being kept a little bit closer to the road right now. This farm is located at Haskell Ballard Lane. Crystal Rogers disappeared July of 2015, and her car was found on the Bluegrass Parkway with her purse, phone, keys, everything still inside. Her then boyfriend, Brooks Houck, was the last person to see her alive, and the two would always take their son here to the farm to roast marshmallows and hot dogs. And today, FBI members could be seen setting up a search base and riding around the large property on ATVs. Last summer, the FBI spent more than a week in a Bardstown neighborhood. They found multiple items of interest under a driveway of a home that was built by Houck's company. Crystal's mom, Sherry Ballard, spoke to the media today about today's search. One she didn't know was happening until it was already underway.
I'm trying not to get too excited about.
Time out a second. I have to talk about this really quick. Where's Denise? I need Denise. Why can't I get back to StreamYard? Where's Denise? Okay, that's big. Let me tell you why that's big. That they didn't tell mom that they were searching today. So last week, allegedly, law enforcement, FBI, whatever, said that they felt like they were getting close. So it is horrifying to think that this man could have put her where they took their son. That's neither here nor there. But do you all remember that Denise, a frequent subscriber, part of our community here, she had a, her fiance was tragically murdered in the White House, Texas murders. And if y'all remember, she told us that they were like, when it got to where things really, like the, what do you call it? Like the peak of the case and things were coming to the head and there was charges going to be dropped and everything like that. They didn't tell her anything. They went radio silent until it happened. So my point is the fact that they didn't even tell mom that they were going here is, I think, really big. And the other thing is, and this is speculation, I think it's big. The other thing is that they set up a base, a search base. Now, one thing that, and we'll talk about it, that is missing and was missing today in Quinton's searching that they did was there was no like base setup or search base. It means they have a pretty good reason to think that she might be at this location. So Brooks' brother was an officer in Bardstown Police when Crystal went. Get out of here. That's crazy, Izzy. I just saw that off topic really quick. I just saw that the son of the law enforcement that was in charge of the Summer Wells case was just like pled guilty to like 4 charges of child bad stuff, you know, but it's just crazy. But so I do think that's pretty significant that they didn't tell her mom. Sorry, I'll keep going. That just hit me for some reason. I remembered what Denise says when she comes in here. I wish she was here now.
About it, because I don't want such a letdown if nothing's found. But at the same time, how can I not?
The FBI says they could be out here several days depending on the ground and the weather conditions. Houck's attorney has no comment on today's search. And coming up at 5 o'clock, the main location that Sherry Ballard wanted searched by the FBI. For now, reporting live in Bardstown, Joel Skipper, WDRB News.
Interesting. Okay. What's interesting about that is here we go again, right? Similar to the Quinton case. There's a lot to talk about, y'all. So brace yourself. Get yourself some iced tea, which I forgot mine, or a Diet Coke, or an adult beverage, whatever you want, and buckle in because we're about to do some deep dives. Is Jen still here? Anybody that wants to come up is welcome. Where's Punkette? Oh, Mother Goose. One thing you'll learn about me is I'm kind of all over the place with my ADD, but we have fun. And his son was charged. Okay, Izzy. Hey, Emily. So here's something interesting. Oh, there's Punkette. Yeah, Izzy. So I told you that about that mom wanted this location. It said, the media said, searched the whole time. Like that was where she said, I do, Punkette. Oh, good, Mother Goose. Punkette, look up Dean's mobile home or Savannah Pines mobile home. Jen, me neither. But I do know it was a pretty hot button issue it's been a pretty big case. 5 kids, mama, 5 kids, young kids. So anyways, it's kind of like the Quinton case, right? Like they haven't arrested Brooks, even though he's the last person to see her. Like everything kind of really points to him, but they have not arrested him. And we're on year 7. You know, like picture this. We're like frustrated about Leilani still being out there without being arrested. Can you imagine this poor family knowing that there's a good chance her murderer has been free. Like, look at, like it's just maddening. It's just maddening. But so we are going to get into that case a little bit more. Like I said, you heard them last year. They searched an area where Brooks' company had done some construction to no avail. This family just needs some form of closure. Hey, Michelle K. Brooks got custody of his. That's what I was wondering. This is what I'm saying. Poor grandma. Oh my God. Poor Crystal's family. Brooks got custody of their 2-year-old son. No visitation with Crystal's mom. Last person to see, hey, Arena, the deceased woman. It's maddening. Izzy sounds like kind of like a Barry Morphew type thing. Hey, the Eerie Fairy. So, oh my gosh. That's maddening. Izzy, I'm going to do some deep. Izzy, can you send me whatever you were saying, some good interviews and stuff on this case as I dive deeper? I definitely want to dive a little bit deeper into Crystal's case because obviously this needs attention and justice. So, other big news. If you didn't see my breaking news, let's switch to Kristen Smart. You know that the trial is on right now. The jury was in deliberation. Ruben Flores, the father, who is being charged with, who's on trial for basically being an accomplice and helping hide the body and potentially moving the body, the jury has reached a verdict for him. Now, I was really excited because I thought this meant like, oh, they were going to come out and say it. No. So what is happening is they are not going to disclose or read his verdict until they have decided on Paul's verdict. Now, the jury for Paul is still in deliberation. I will say, Robert Sanger, I believe is his name, is Paul's lawyer, and he asked for a mistrial to the judge. And the reason he asked for a mistrial was because he saw their private investigator for the defense hugging Kristen Smart's family. However, thank the Lord that the judge denied it. But please, this case, y'all, okay, first we have the juror who gets dismissed last week, right before deliberations, trial's done, gets dismissed because he tells his priest about the case. In confession, that's fine. But he then admitted to another juror that he spoke to the priest outside of the confession booth. So that juror gets dismissed. Now fast forward, and we have the private investigator hugging Kristen's family. It is an extremely emotional case. Keep in mind, Kristen's family still does not have her body. They still don't know where she's buried. And these two men, we can say, probably have a really good chance. Thank the Lord, the judge did not give a mistrial. The other thing is, we can thank the Lord that there is no hung jury. One of my biggest fears was there was going to be a hung jury on this case, but there's not. At least with Ruben, there's not. But dear Lord, people, if you're on a jury or if you're like a private investigator, please, please, please use wisdom about what you do, because can you imagine a mistrial? Everyone said, they don't know, they don't have a good feeling about Paul's case, which is mind-blowing. I will be shocked if we see that come back as not guilty. But the worst part of it is it could come back guilty and they could spend the rest of their life, exactly, Pointer Lover. They could spend the rest of their life in jail, and Pointer Lover is exactly correct. They still might never find Kristen. They moved a body. Oh, Beatlemaniac, really? I'm sorry. I agree with Pointer Lover because I think if they were going to give up where Kristen's body was located, they would have done it already. And that sucks. And that sucks because that's awful. It's just devastating. It's just horrible. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I imagine that will be, I don't think it'll take much longer. For Paul's, maybe it will. But to me, I'm like, it's pretty cut and dry. But one exciting thing and why I want this trial to wrap up is not just because I want it to be guilty and I want them to go to prison. But if you guys remember Erin that comes in here, she has been at Kristen's trial every single day. She's not on the jury, but she's been at the trial every single day and seen this play out. She has notebook after notebook after notebook. She is going to come on here and talk about the trial because we weren't able to obviously see it, and go over what happened, because I'm like, oh no, they don't have enough. Erin thinks they do, and she's there. So we're going to be able to hear firsthand about what this has been like for the family, for it, just it all, everything. But she can't do that until the verdict, even though she wasn't like actually on the jury, they're still not allowed to talk about the case until after the verdict is through. So I'm excited about, I guess that sounds weird to be excited about, but yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with Crystal Rogers. I just wanted to intro her a little bit, and if you can, look into her case a little bit. She is the mother, and right now, her mom doesn't even get to see her grandson, who is essentially might be living with his father, who potentially killed his mother. And part of the reason for this case is, if we've seen anything in the last, week, y'all, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we have seen that our system is really, really, really broken. So let's talk a little bit about the Quinton updates. All right. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, by the way, y'all, before I get onto that, Alabama has charged Marcus Spanavello. Remember, they believed he might have murdered Cassie Carley, but then Florida let him go because of the fact that they could not, her cause of death was unknown. However, Alabama came back and charged him with felony abuse of a corpse. Frustrating, yes, because that's not exactly what we wanted yet. Okay, but this will at least keep him while law enforcement continues to work and tries to solidify a case without a cause of death. So, like detective or FBI agent Coffindoffer, I think I said that right this time, said, look, take what you can get, take right now what we can prove. Not we, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, Quinton's case. Lord have mercy. Okay, let's just start. Quinton has not been found yet from what we've heard. It is alleged today that there was, and I'm going to pull it up, police, and we did see it, police presence at Superior Landfill in Georgia. I will say, though, however, there was no exactly, Pointer Lever. Thank you, Pointer Lever. Just to give you a heads up, too, for anybody not familiar with Cassie Carley's case, she was buried, y'all, in a barn in Alabama. Cause of death unknown. So, y'all, hey, Sarah, so this is almost more frustrating to me, these cases, because although, I think Kylie's case, I've got questions like this, she was physically buried. And because the cause of death is unknown, we might never have justice for her murder. It's maddening. It's maddening. But, sorry, okay. So, there was they were searching this landfill. Now let me pull up Google Earth. I want you all to see something though really quickly. So the time frame, I do have a time frame, right? The time frame where she allegedly left her house, Leilani, was 7 a.m. Okay. She came back around 9:16. This is per some video that's out there. I have not seen it, but I have a pretty good source that this is true. Okay, so let's look at something really quick before I move on. I'm not sure if y'all can see because it's not letting. Oh, here we go. Wow, that's fancy. Oh, it's not letting me zoom in. But Superior Landfill, Punkette, if you're still here, can you tell me what time they open? The time that's in question, see, if you can see here, there is, it's gated. It's gated. So if the time in question, it was gated, the landfill, that would lead me to believe that he was, if indeed he is in this landfill, that he was indeed had to have been dumped in a dumpster. Exactly, Pointer Lover. Okay. I 150,000%, and I'm sorry, do not believe that she doesn't remember. I understand there is postpartum amnesia, there is things like that, but I think that a whole week passed, it was almost potentially a whole week passed on social media where Leilani was able to, she is very active on social media, or was before this, read everything out there and develop. I mean, everybody in every YouTube chat on Facebook was, could it be postpartum? Could it be postpartum? All this stuff. I think she had a long time to collect a really good story. And the reason that I don't think she doesn't remember is because of some of the things I saw with like postpartum amnesia. Like, she wouldn't be doing anything. Yeah, you don't get to just be having the amnesia when you kill him and nothing else, right? Like, it's just maddening. There's also allegedly the rumor that she never said anything about the landfill, but that grandma added that part because it was opens at 6 a.m. closes. Okay, thank you, Punkette. That it was like just something she had gotten that idea from. I don't know what it is. The other rumor, and these are all rumors, right, that we hear going around right now, and then we'll go over facts, is that she look, oh my gosh, like a squirrel. Yeah, I completely lost my train of thought. That is maddening. Like, it was just in my head physically 2 seconds ago. It'll come back. All right, so let me, oh, I know. Yeah, she 100% does. Denise, I was looking for you. 100% Panther. Exactly, Denise. She also has been on some, you know, she is bipolar, and I'm not saying that bipolar makes you do anything like that. I'm saying if she's not properly medicated with mental health issues, coming from somebody with mental health issues, it's not good. All right. Yeah, exactly, Toy. Throw the whole family in a slammer. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, here's my deal. I have grace with grandma to a certain extent. I think that this is not anything she would wish on her grandchild, and I believe she loves her grandkids, and I believe that she would never want to hurt them. My grace runs out is the fact that we know, based on her yelling at the babysitter, we know grandma knew about the bruises, because when she's screaming at the babysitter and comes in and blasts into the house, the babysitter says in a very pain-filled voice, I told you about the bruises. I sent you pictures. To which grandma responds, I think in her anger, like when we're angry like that, things come up. I had to provide for my family. She never disputes the bruises. She never says, no, you never sent me that. Nothing. she goes right on to say, hey, like, I don't know what to tell you. I was working, like, my grace runs out that she knew. So the other rumor is that the big evidence that law enforcement has is the fact that she was seen at a mobile home park. Exactly, Pointer Lover. Granny didn't deny it. And for me, that was a really big thing. For me, that was a really big thing. She didn't say anything. She didn't say, well, I just didn't even think it was, I just didn't think it's possible. Anything like that. Anything. Which makes me think that it's not the first time. So the daughter and mother both have attorneys. Okay, yeah. This, exactly. Her comeback was, I was providing for my family. No. I'm going to say something. Look, I've talked to some of the father's families, and I'm going to tell you something. Like, maybe they weren't dad of the year, but you also have to remember we don't know that side of the story, okay? We don't exactly know what Leilani did or did not let the fathers do. We also have to remember Leilani bounced around a lot with the kids. She just was living in Dunn, North Carolina, where she stole, that $20 from. So we can't necessarily say that, the fathers didn't care. I will say that Cody and his family are fighting hardcore for Zane right now. I will say, because this was in the media, that Cody's family, or Cody was via, he lives in New York, so he was via like video, and Grandpa, Cody's dad, had actually went to court today to petition, or whatever you do to get custody of Zane. Their family right now, I had asked a member of their family, they have been completely shut down to talking anything about the custody. Like, no, as far as that. So, I mean, yeah, that's never it. Yeah. So basically they are shut down from talking about oh, no, not the Aspire. Cody is Zane's dad. No, I don't know anything about the aspiring artist family. Bubba is, and that's his name, is Quinton's dad. And what we don't see, and that I didn't even know, is that, so Bubba and Cody don't live in Savannah. They don't live near, like, right there. What I didn't know is that as soon as Quinton went missing, Bubba went to Savannah. So people are kind of like, and I'm not saying, like, I'm sure they have issues, right? Do I know that they were the perfect father? I don't. But we also have to remember that they didn't even get a say of whether or not he lost his son. We know that Leilani's talked to Cody. Cody thought like everything was good. He knew she struggled with depression a year ago. Cody's Zane's dad. I don't know. Exactly, Emily. I just don't want to label them too quickly. Like, I think they have their issues. But I also think Leilani, and I can say this because I had a family member like that, Leilani bounced around a lot with those kids until Grandma got custody. And I do believe, Emily, that Grandma put her daughter's needs before her infant grandson. And I believe that the only reason Grandma ever got custody of those kids or went for custody, well, I think she probably loved it, but I think one of the main reasons is that she just wanted to keep the kids, like, in the family. Yeah, she had no idea he'd die, but, so let's go with it. So here's what I did. Based on where they are allegedly searching today, I just wanted to pull up Google Earth Joker is okay. Panther. Yeah, we can make fun of him. For sure. And okay, so there's the other thing. There's multiple rumors about a lie detector test. So there's rumors that he passed it, a Joker, aspiring artist. Yes, Pointer Lips. Thank you for understanding what I'm saying. Thank you. The communication I've had with some family members on dad's side and stuff, like, is heartbroken. And I just think that we can't. I agree. We do not know enough about the situation to make up assumptions about them yet. But I do know that there's a grandfather that drove several hours down to try to fight for custody for Zane, you know. And so anyways, so there's been rumors that Danny, aspiring artist Joker, passed the lie detector test. There's rumors that he failed and Leilani passed. I don't think that's true. I think that if anyone passed, it was probably the other way around. However, law enforcement has said nothing about a lie detector test. And if we have learned anything from the Watts case or any of these cases about lie detector tests, one, they're not admissible in court. And two, sometimes I wonder, like, did they even really give him a test, or are they just asking these questions for BS, you know, just to, like, I wouldn't put too much stock in a lie detector test. And to be quite honest, until law enforcement confirms that, I'm kind of like on the fence about whether that's true or not. I was frustrated when they said, I'm going to address that, Beatlemaniac, but I was told they would ask to take one. Would they take it afterwards? Everyone's. Denise, I missed what you said up here. Are you talking about the lie detector test? So I am frustrated with them going at the babysitter. I'll tell you why. I don't care what the babysitter's past was. Like, I really don't. I don't care what grandma's past was, necessarily. I'm surprised she got custody. What I care is that the kids were taken care of by the babysitter. And I believe, based on the amount of pain we've heard, I think she cared about him. I mean, what I'm confused about is who actually sent those texts to the babysitter. That's a good point. That's a good point. So I don't know. I mean, going at the babysitter. I wonder, Punkat. Okay. Both addresses are not coming up on a residential pickup. Interesting. Thank you, Punkat. The babysitter's pass is 18 years old. And that's the same. I mean, if grandma's pass is many years, okay, then that doesn't matter to me either. But what I do know is the babysitter, she didn't leave the kids. She had them. Kathy Joe, she had them all the time. She took care of those kids. Grandma, yes, she provided, but, they took the phones on yes. And then that's the other thing. People are saying, well, Danny has his phone back. I don't know what, but I'm sure law enforcement has a handle on all of that. Okay, let's go to Google Earth. Let's say this mobile home theory is correct. Yeah, Denise, I know that they still have Leilani's. We've got so much to talk about this case. She did show her face today before court. There was a huge issue. People are saying, and we'll look at video, that it wasn't her at court. But I have verified with somebody that was present that she was there. So I would say that was probably her. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm going to zoom in. I love my Google Earth. Okay, so here is last place Quinton was seen, Buckhalter Road. We also know that Grandpa owns property down Gerard Avenue. That's where Leilani and Paul once lived, right here where there's a little X by the New Vision Baptist Church, somewhere in that area. Like I said, Leilani has bounced several different places and did end up back at 535 Buckhalter Road. So, let's say, so over here, Superior Landfill is what we know that there was some law enforcement present today. It would seem doing some form. I mean, I can't imagine law enforcement is hanging out at the, what is it not? Law enforcement is hanging out at the landfill for fun. So that is 6 miles away. Okay. However, when they searched, and we'll look at some pictures, when they searched the landfill, there was never any setup of any type of, like a base to search or anything like that. We just know that there was some law enforcement activity at the Superior landfill. All right. So we've got that. Let's make sure I haven't missed anything here. Yeah, she was hauling butt out of that courtroom today, y'all, like hauling. And somebody was like, well, how could no one should be protecting her? Look, law enforcement has to. We've seen the most horrific criminals in the entire world, even worse than Leilani, though it might not seem that way right now, be protected. It's just, that's what we have to do. I know, it sucks, Denise. It really does, but only knew that was yeah, Denise. Exactly. I don't think necessarily they have a choice but to protect her. It doesn't make sense, but we've seen the worst of the worst. I mean, heck, didn't Dahmer have, like, didn't those, like, idiots have some type of, okay, sorry, I'm getting off focus. All right, so let's say that she went to the landfill and that's where she dumped him. I don't necessarily think that's the case because we looked at the landfill and there was the gated entrance, and I'm just feeling like not just like I just don't feel like she just drove into the landfill and took him in the back. I just don't think that. So let's say if people's theory is correct, that they believe that rumor is true, that she was seen on surveillance camera at a mobile home park dumping him into a trash bin. If that is true, I tried to find the nearest mobile home parks. Okay, and what I did come up with is Dean Forest Mobile Home Park, and we'll look at that. I just want you guys to see something. No, I want you to see something. What do we see here? Dean Forest Mobile Home Park. Can anyone point to me what else is in that picture? I feel like a teacher with a pop quiz. What else is right near Dean Forest Mobile Park? And it might not have anything to do with it, but I did think it was bizarre. So over here, in this long building in these areas, is the City of Savannah Sanitation Department. The Erie Ferry. Is it, you can say the channel name. So there's the one other park I think might be the case. Hey, Jingles. And that is Savannah Pines Mobile Park. So I went ahead and looked into Savannah Pines Mobile Park, Home Park. And wow, yeah, God bless the people that live there. But it does look like they have some form of like dumpsters, a lot of dumpsters. I just couldn't get a clear enough picture to see what dumpsters there are. Savannah Pines, I believe I marked that. Savannah Pines, where did I put that? It's in here somewhere. Okay, so Savannah Pines Mobile Park is way up here in the right corner. There are, obviously there's many mobile home parks. That doesn't mean either one of these she was at. I mean, we don't know for sure that she was at either of them, but I will say, I'm not sure that she would drive a really long distance, but maybe she did. I'm trying to see if dumpsters with multiple cameras in mobile home park. Really? Okay, the Erie Ferry. I will check that out for sure. Because she wasn't gone that long. If she in fact did leave, she wasn't gone that long. And then there's also the theory that she did it and early, like midnight or something like that. It's possible. But the other thing about that is you've got the boyfriend claiming that he saw Quinton at 6 o'clock. Now the pool, I'm going to share Twitter because that's always blown up with good stuff. She did share wow, my brain is out there. So here's Leilani. Oh, she is trucking. Look at the cops. They're like, peace out. Yeah, don't feel sorry for you. Whoops. Let's see here. Quinton's mom is stripped of her other 2 kids after being named a suspect in presumed death. Court documents. Well, let's look at this. We already know that she was stripped. I mean, we're going to go over that letter. So what in the absolute? Okay, that's not at all what just happened to me. I don't know what that is, but what was that I just clicked on? Let me go back to actually Twitter. So I actually think that too, Panther. I think that if she did, do that in the middle of the night, I think he might have seen a pile of blankets. I'm still up in the air on whether or not I think that the boyfriend is involved. News advertised she didn't think she would show up. Both did with it. Wow. So there was somebody saying that Leilani and her mother had a domestic disturbance on October 10th. We found no evidence whatsoever of that actually being the case. The last domestic disturbance that we've seen was in September 7th. Also, and Leilani's arrest was November 2nd, 2021, when she got arrested in Dunn, North Carolina. All right, let's go back to those ladies were there to make sure. Yeah, for sure. I wonder if she did put him in a dumpster and they are private service them. Yeah, punkster. It just seems much. It just seems to me that would be more of a realistic than to drive into a landfill like that. And I don't know. So mom, one thing I didn't know if y'all caught, but we're gonna look at the thing that was on my channel and obviously many channels is the records that Leilani did admit to using drugs while pregnant. I believe it was Zane that she used drugs. Okay, so this is allegedly, here's another rumor, right? We have this, I don't know whose it is or whatnot, but according to my friend who works with the waste removal, they never stopped searching. They stopped doing public searches. This is not at all I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. I am trying to find one thing. And I cannot find it. So here's the land. This is part of the landfill, I guess the hills, the Superior landfill. But again, there wasn't really a large presence that we know of at this landfill. I don't know if it's just because, hey, Jameson, it's the closest one there. She did test positive with Sky. That's fantastic. Wow. Unbelievable. Also, they did show a picture that the pool has now been completely covered. I mean, very interesting. But so here's a picture of the landfill, the gated entrance. We do see police there, but again, not a massive amount of law enforcement presence. Here is the picture of the pool that has now been covered. Okay, so we know that the pool was drained by law enforcement. Hey, Jax. Yeah. So Toy, Oh yeah, Jen, I told her she could mention it, but I don't know. Like I haven't seen actual like evidence that they know yet what part it is. But yes. So hey Melissa Jade. Melissa, if you want to come up, you are welcome to. But I know you just got off like a couple hour live, so anybody's always welcome to come up. I'm still not convinced that they found something in the pool. I'm still not convinced. Let's go to what else I have here. So here's the land, some of the landfill too. I wanted to show you guys this. I did not take these. Awesome, Melissa. Okay, I did not take these pictures. Nerdy Addict did. Now I want a disclaimer. Yeah, I filled her in the Erie Fairy. I want to do a disclaimer. I don't mind like if somebody's going to the house to do like a what do you call it, like a peaceful type protest. Fine, I'm all for that. But I am not about people standing out there with bullhorns yelling and stuff like that because I just don't see the point. I don't see the point. But you're dead pocket. I thought one of those court deputies. Yes, thank you, Toy. See, y'all keep me on track. All right. We can listen to Nancy Grace if y'all want. She did a little thing, but I don't necessarily like. I like kind of investigating with you guys. This is what I was doing. I was looking for that paperwork. And if you guys haven't checked out Melissa Jade's coverage of this case, phenomenal. I think this is one of the few times we haven't been live at the same time, but this is part of the landfill. But I mean, there's not a lot of garbage there. So I don't know. What are y'all? Do you guys think he's there? Do you think he's at a landfill? Do you think before I move on, I'm just curious. Yeah, causing chaos in a viral video does nothing to help the situation at all. Yeah, trying to assault. You're fair. You're good. You're good. Jen's and no, there was some other people mentioning stuff, so you're good. So the dogs, yeah, that's the other part, is that it's alleged that dogs hit on something. But again, we're not getting a lot of updates from the police. And I know that's part of the frustration. People were frustrated earlier because law enforcement, they thought that it would get like some sort of an update today, and there was nothing. It is a little bit bizarre that we're not seeing a lot of police presence searching places. Yeah, no, Kate, so that is the biggest theory out there right now. But again, law enforcement has not told us really anything. So there was somebody, and I cannot remember how, and I wish I could, that was on a channel, and they said that it was actually somebody that was like a lawyer, and they gave a really good description of why Leilani isn't arrested yet. And I can't remember what it was or what channel. But I mean, they have to have something to get her on. If they blow this, oh man, if they blow this, it's just. All right, let's go to that thing I was doing. There we go. Here is it's hard to see, so I'm going to read it to you. This was when the transfer of custody happened from grandma to the state. So originally everyone thought, and they might have been at some point, I knew at the end of last week where the kids were, but we were like, it was just really down low. You can't, they were not with her aunt. They might have been at the very beginning, but they were taken obviously to the state. And at this point, y'all, like I said, I don't know what happened today in court. All the families have been told to be like, they can't talk about it. So like, yeah. So anyways. Oh, Melissa, I 100%. Oh, yeah, I'm with you all the way right there. I 150% believe they know. And to be quite honest, Joe, to be entirely honest, I don't necessarily. So, oh, you're struggling with believing law enforcement doesn't know where Q is. I do too, Melissa. And this is where I'm caught up. I'm caught up because I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced Grandma doesn't know. I'm concerned that Grandma is afraid of what hot water she's in. In Georgia, they really do have one chance to arrest. Otherwise, they can't be. Okay, so here's what this said. It says complaints in an affidavit have been filed in this court indicating that pursuant to OC blah, 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 law enforcement removed the above referenced children, Zane Wharton and Sky Youngkin. Those are the other two kids, which was Quinton's siblings. They were removed October 12th at approximately 6:30, and an officer of this court authorized the removal of the children from the home and the placement of the children in foster care because the children were in imminent danger or of abuse or neglect if they remained in my home. In my home, yeah, they were in my home. So I do have a little bit of problem because there's been the whole like discrepancy of did grandma have custody just given by Leilani, or was it an actual agreement like drawn up by the courts? Well, I think it had to have been an actual agreement drawn up by the courts based on the fact that Leilani was asked to pay child support. It does say like non-parent guardian or something. That's how they label Billy Joe. So then I would think that there has to be some formal custody agreement out there within the court. So if you were watching Melissa Jade's channel, I believe it was yesterday, one area that she talked about that I find is really on point, that is bothersome to me. Okay, Leilani, okay, that would make sense. What is bothersome to me is that nothing was ever checked. Like, you mean to tell me that somebody had to pass away or a child had to be harmed for you to realize that these kids were being neglected and that they weren't being taken care of and that grandma wasn't there? So let's go on and read the rest. Removal of the children from the custodian was and remains necessary to safeguard the children's welfare. Continuation of the children in the home and or returning the children to the home would be contrary to the welfare of the children, and removal of the children is in best interest of the children because a voluntary kinship care agreement with relatives became insufficient to ensure the safety and the welfare of the children during a child death investigation. So you're right, Melissa. Okay, so you're right. So right there, that should answer our question. It says a voluntary kinship. So that would mean that Leilani gave, yes, Paul was evicted back in 2019 for stealing $100 from his mother. That was when Leilani and Paul lived on Garrard Avenue, which was Grandpa Tommy's other property. And there was a huge domestic dispute because Paul blamed Leilani for stealing the $100. Leilani blamed Paul, blah, 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 blah. It was a huge mess. So yes, so Melissa Jade's right. It's voluntary. So then it would most likely be some sort of, before she went. Here's my issue. The police report just released of Billy Joe and Elle's incident showed that Billy Joe left the house for a few. Exactly, Melissa Jade. I said that the other night. Right? Hey, Megan VR. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, know your limits. Exactly, Melissa Jade. So there's record then we know of in a police report. Like we know because I told you when I looked back on her Facebook before everything was shut down, she was gone a lot. I mean, lots and lots and lots, 2 weeks at a time. Okay, so, well, you could say that's hearsay. We know based on the police report, Grandma left the kids with Leilani for at least a few days alone because Paul, the brother that lived with her, who had lived with them, left with her. So there is record that law enforcement and stuff or whoever knew that these kids were left with an unfit mother. I know, Melissa. I said my grace ran out when the babysitter said I showed you pictures and she said I was trying to provide or I was providing for my family because I feel she just buried her head in the sand. And then after all that, yeah, no. Were they, Denise? Okay. Let's read the rest of this here. Child death of the children's sibling Quinton Simon, or Simon, however you say it, was reported missing October 5th based upon information obtained in the course of its missing child investigation on October 12th. Law enforcement notified DFCS and the family it was proceeding with a child death investigation. The children and the sibling were living in a home with the mother, the youngkin father, and the maternal grandmother prior to siblings' disappearance. Interesting. They don't list grandfather. Was he living there? Were they separated? Interesting. The mother is a primary subject of a death investigation and other household members. Wow. As well as relatives continue to be investigated for protective capacity. That's huge because we have heard there is rumor that, the brother no one has told us where Paul was this whole time. No one. But it's not the first time, like, Leilani and Paul have been involved in some weird things. Leilani and Paul are biological siblings. It's the only biological siblings that there are. The other two kids in the family are not biological siblings to them. They're like half brothers or whatever. Not that it matters. And we know that one brother's in prison for 45 years. So this part bothers me. If the grandma knew the children were unsafe, being left with the mother, how, yeah. I know. So it's interesting they don't mention grandfather. Yeah, they don't mention grandfather, and that's interesting. But we've not heard where Paul is. And so I am wondering if he is on some sort of, like, if they haven't cleared him fully yet. Right. And I'm not saying, I'm going to keep that thought to myself about grandma. But anyways, so then it says, death investigation, house, blah, blah, blah. The mother is a chronic unrehabilitated. I want you to hear that. I know a lot of you have already read this, but it's good to go over it. Chronic unrehabilitated substance abuser of cocaine and cannabis. She screened positive for an admitted use of cocaine and THC at the birth of the child, Sky. Okay, here's my question. Why did they check that? Exactly, Melissa Jade. Are they saying, like, okay, did she just admit this now? Or are they saying that she admitted this way back then that she did? Or did they check her at the hospital if she did drugs? Like, I'm a little bit confused about that wording, is whether or not, because if they checked her at the hospital and she was on drugs and she admitted to being on drugs, you mean to tell me that no one followed up? Like, somebody's going to have to make this make sense. I think Grandpa, he was visibly upset the first day we ever heard from him. And, the rumor has it he's kind of like, I went out. So I don't know. We've never heard from him beyond that one. The only thing he did say, people had said, was he was one of Leilani's biggest supporters throughout the years, but that he said that this didn't make sense and that she just likes to lie and she lies all the time. Hey, Drama Divides. So all 3 children were exposed in utero. She has failed to get any form of, yep. Yes, exactly, Melissa Jade. And I'm still not, do you know when was she checked right at the hospital? Because if she was, oh, they check. Oh, right, Panther. Duh. They do? I guess I didn't even know that. I guess I just, gave blood and didn't even know they check it. So okay, so we're saying 3 times in 3 years, she tested positive for these drugs. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Wow. Unfreaking believable. Okay. Wow. The mother has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and anxiety disorder for which she has not been receiving, oh my gosh, ongoing mental health treatment. That's not good. The maternal grandmother has a permanent guardianship order as to the child Zane, pursuant to documents from the juvenile court of Burke County. The maternal grandmother failed to provide adequate supervision for the child Zane by leaving child Zane in the home in the care of, I don't know why I cut that off. Blah, blah, blah. And so basically it's just telling you that they, weren't cared for. I don't know why they're bringing up I guess there must be some Indian, Native American background in there, but they're saying they didn't whoa. Reviewing Child Protective Service history from other counties as well as ongoing family preservation services case previously providing the mother with substance abuse rehabilitation treatment following in utero. So wait a minute. So hold up. Is that confirming then that there was a past CPS case? I'm trying to understand this. So, okay, this light's bothering me. I'm going back in it. Wow. Whew, sorry, it was getting my eyes. So wait a minute. Is this then confirming that there was active CPS cases out there in different counties? Oh yeah, I would imagine. From my understanding, Tommy is quite wealthy. I'm sure that he's dishing out for the lawyers. There would have been a CPS because, oh my gosh, Melissa Jade, this is why her coverage is great. This is why it's important that multiple. Let me say something. This is why it's important that multiple creators cover cases with facts, because there's a lot of times I didn't know some of the stuff about. I haven't had a chance to fully look at some of that stuff that's on there. But now, even if the babysitter's claims and the neighbor's claims are completely false and no one ever called, there was still active cases, which means they still should have been checked. Sky was in her care. Sky was born June 5th, to which mom tested positive for cocaine and THC, but cocaine, and left the hospital, from our understanding, or at least got Sky shortly after, with the baby. Jingles, it doesn't say which county, it says previous counties. I'm imagining probably the kids weren't all born in one county. In fact, I don't know. The same county, maybe, I don't know. But that is massive. That is a huge CPS fail. And yet again, how many children have to die before we fix it? Diana said when she called to report abuse, They would tell her there's already a case open, yet they are supposed to. Oh my gosh. Wow. And for people saying that the babysitter didn't call, that she didn't say that the first time, I would say, prove to me that she didn't. Like, look, the babysitter has nothing. I don't know. I don't think she's in it for clout. She's keeping her mouth shut for the most part. She's wrecked. This is going to impact the rest of her life. She's a grandma. Yeah. She had those babies for very, very little money all the time. All the time. Leave her alone. Exactly. Just leave her alone. Stop. You can have sympathy for Billy Joe, but let's be real. Let's put accountability where accountability lies, and that's not on Diana. I told you, I don't care Grandma's past. I don't care Grandma. I don't care about Grandma's past. I care that those babies were taken care of. Who is blowing up my phone? Oh, my mother. Well, sorry, hold on. Oh, she was just telling me she bought my kids shoes. New basketball shoes. And that's kind of what I think. Yeah, I think so too, Melissa Jade. It's the same thing with the dads, y'all. Like Pointer Lover said, we don't know enough about the dads to make assumptions. And we really don't, because the communication I've had with any family member of the dads, there's a lot we don't know. Like, there was a lot of things that Leilani bounced around a lot. There are a lot of times where you can only be a dad as much as the person that has your kids allows you to. You know, I'm not saying they're perfect, and I'm not saying they don't have a mess, but we do know Leilani, you know, would kind of call and cry to Cody or whatever. He said he just, you know, yeah. I mean, he lived in New York too, but yeah, it's just, and exactly. I mean, Grandma busts in her house. I don't know. Absolutely, Anarchy. Yes, it was great to come in. I was told in Georgia they test every baby, and if they test, well, that's the thing, Jingles. That's what. Yeah, Cody wasn't. He lived in New York, and look, he's got his own issues, and you know, but, and that's how they were able to clear the biological dad of Quinton so quickly, is because he doesn't live there. I don't know, Toy. The only thing I can think of was that she wasn't supposed to have unsupervised visits with them, but it obviously happened. But apparently it was never followed up in. We do know that Grandma wrote back in text. Remember, she told the babysitter, yeah, take the kids, don't let them back, all that kind of stuff. But then like a few hours later, she called back and said that, you know, we don't, what did she say? Oh, I want Leilani to know she can do whatever she wants in this world and stuff like that. And I understand. So here's the deal. I understand. I can't even fathom what it's like to have a child that's an addict and grandchildren. Like, I'm not going to tell you, I can begin to understand that. However, I will say that I have a sub. We all do, Sandy. She's amazing. And I can mention this because she mentioned it herself the other day, who made a very difficult decision to keep her grandkids away from her own, I believe it was her daughter, because her daughter was not fit to care for them, to keep her grandkids safe. So look, grandparents do it all the time, and it sucks. But they were allowed to live in the same house, but the children never should. Exactly. Yeah, go ahead. If you want mom to regroup and have a good relationship with the babies, absolutely. But leaving her for a week at a time, Grandma worked nights. I know that for a fact. In fact, I could probably screenshotted it, where Grandma talks in June about starting nights. So the babysitter had the kids during the day, and then the kids came home at night, and then Leilani was essentially then left every night with them if Grandma worked locally, and if Grandma worked away. I mean, she was left with them all the time. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't believe she was present very much. You know, the mom cared about herself, and CPS never right. Yeah, Panther, and I think they have their own things. Hey, Rebellious. It's I don't know. I don't know how I don't know how people can come at the babysitter so hard right now and just like try to make her life a living hell. Do we all understand that if it wasn't for the babysitter, we don't even know how long it would have been before Quinton was called in missing? It's insane. And so now Georgia and CPS and everything comes flying in now to save these other two kids. But yet there's a baby. There's a 20-month-old child. I have a 20-month-old cousin, and when I look at him, I can't. He's maybe a little bit younger. I can't even fathom anything like this happening to him. And I'm thinking, he's still out there. He's still out there. And we're supposed to believe that she doesn't know where he is. Yeah, so they went after Zane, right? They went after Zane because they have to, I guess, like I don't know how to say, legitimatize. That's probably not right at all. The fathers. Yes, for the life of me, Punkat has tried and tried and tried and tried, and we can't find any other records. As far as the mobile home parks, so there are several, and we did see a couple of them. Most mobile home parks have a lot of dumpsters, so I think it'd be hard to totally narrow it down. I also saw that, like, what did I just say it as? Whatever landfill I did, Superior, whatever. I saw that about a year ago there was a huge protest because they were going to expand it to something else to like make it bigger or something, and people were getting upset because they were moving dumpsters to the mobile home parks. It was just this huge mess. So yeah, so I'm confused at why. So do CPS and law enforcement, I'm very new to this stuff. Do CPS and law enforcement not communicate? Like, is there no type of system that connects the two of them? Because I'm just kind of confused at, like, so we know that September 7th, only 2 kids were mentioned as being there. Okay, so September 7th, only the 2 kids were mentioned as being there. So that doesn't like register in a system that CPS can say, hey, the mom can. I guess it would be probably too easy, and I'm just naive to that. Well, allegedly Danny is moving on from Leilani. We've seen Melissa, I think so. Was it the one that came out last week where basically, I saw the part, that's the thing that bothered, let me see if I got that up here. Hold on a second. That bothered me the most was the fact that it says that she was, she went away for a few days. hang with me a second. Let's look at that, y'all. Let's look at that for a second. You guys think we'll get an update from law enforcement? Now I can't see. Did mom ever go to jail when she got arrested, or was it just like a kindly? What the heck? I'll have to find it. I do have it somewhere. Oh, really, Melissa? Wait. No, I did not see a police report. What? Yeah, no. Did not see that. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. This is why I can't go anywhere and do things, because I need to be here. I'm just kidding. What do I like? Let's see. Is this a police report? Okay. Billy Joel deactivate. Yeah, we know she's deactivated and reactivated her account 15 times. I can't find it. If somebody has it or can see it, can you send it to me? Oh, yeah. So, okay. So I saw, yeah. So they had an issue about the washer. So that, yes, I saw that. So the big issue, the big fight allegedly on September 7th was that Leilani didn't do her laundry was in the washer. So it was over a washer. And then apparently grandma shoved Leilani. But it was like after Leilani did. Okay, thank you. After Leilani did something to her. And then Leilani called. Yeah, so she stole $20 from an employer in North Carolina. That's okay. All right. Yes, let's go over this, because I do think this is it. On Wednesday, September 7th at approximately 16:07, I responded to a call for a domestic dispute at 535 Buckhalter Road. Upon my arrival, I made contact with the complainant, I identified as Leilani Simon. You know what's interesting about this, y'all, is that Leilani was also the one that called on Paul. And for their domestic dispute, okay. In 2019, Leilani's the one that called on Paul for stealing money, which he denied, said Leilani took it. Leilani paid mom back the $100, and then it came out like that he did actually take it or whatever. So that's all right. Hey, Nadine. Okay, so Leilani said her and her mother had an altercation regarding some clothes that were in the wash. Leilani said they removed her clothes so that her mother could use the washer. Leilani said they had a disagreement verbally about how things were, and she said her mother got in her face and shoved her. Leilani said she hit a wall and felt that her elbow was red from the wall. Leilani said her two kids were around and said she called to put a stop to the issues between her and her mom, as she said she did not want her kids to be around that. Okay. Leilani's elbow was red, however, there were no signs of bruising. I made contact with the mother, identified as Billy Howell. Mrs. Howell said she was having issues with her daughter, as she said she wanted to use her washer and it was in use. So it kind of sounds like a ticking time on there. It had several things. So Melissa Jade, I finally found who biological dad is, but I cannot find a picture of him. Yes, it only mentions two. So Was Sky ever even like interesting? Okay, Miss Howell said she was frustrated and takes care of the household and pays all the bills. Ew, ew, ew. Can you imagine? I bet Leilani doesn't clean a whole lot. Like when grandma's not there. Ooh. Yeah, send it. You think with all these properties there are other washers. Yeah, I mean this is a pretty this is a pretty large fight for the washer. But anyways, Miss Howell said her daughter lives there, 2 kids, and the daughter's boyfriend. That's a good find. I mean, 2 kids. Where's the 3rd kid? Was there? Interesting. Sorry, I got caught up. Okay. Miss Howell said she got into an argument with her daughter and said after her daughter screamed at the top of her lungs in her face, she shoved her. Leilani said she was on probation and did not want the conflict to escalate and said that was why she called. Yes, Leilani, Citizen of the Year. She didn't want her mom to face charges. She was advised she could go to courthouse and attempt to get a warrant taken out if she wished. Leilani said she understood. Of course, she didn't want to. Miss Howell's son came to pick her up to remove her from the situation. So the son that came to remove her, I don't think that was actually, I'm not thinking that was Paul. I actually think that might have been the other brother, Joe. I don't know. Well, no, Denise, I know, but this is from September 7th. He was still alive then. Oh, Punk got good catch. Good catch. Great. I'm gonna have to figure out how to edit that. I mean, you can have my license and my, but anyways, Miss Howell's son came to pick her up and agreed to separate from the situation for some time to avoid conflict. Miss Howell said she may have to evict them. Miss Howell's son advised that his mother was tired, as he said the daughter has a history of stealing from the mother and buying drugs with that money, and says the problem goes back very far. Miss Howell left the scene with her son for at least a few days. Yeah, thanks, Toy H. My gosh, I'm like, here, take my Fidelis card, whatever you want. So there's 2 kids. We hear 2 kids. It doesn't say anything about the brother, so maybe the brother didn't live there at that point, or the brother didn't really, like, I don't know what it is. Oh, I know. Punk gets over here writing my card numbers down. My anyways, oh, there is Toy. I'm gonna edit that out, but I forgot that was in there. What do you think? Look at Sexy Grandpa. What do you guys think? Where's the 3rd kid? So you know what, Panthera? It is shut the front door. Have you all seen? Okay, make sure my card's up. Leilani's biological. What is he? 12? Hello. I know. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Wow. Yo, he doesn't. He's 50. Hey, ass socket. I'm gonna look like that when I'm 50. Yeah, well, Billy Joel was married to a Betterton, and then married to, or I don't even know if she was married to the Simon, and then Howell. He doesn't have a girl. Melissa already checked it out. She was like, "That's all you need to do is get involved with Leilani's father." Yeah. Sorry, that caught me off guard. All right, so give me your opinions. Do you think he is in that landfill? Do you think she dumped him in the garbage can, or do you think that's completely false and they're looking in the completely wrong direction and there's nothing indicating that they really don't have anything indicating landfill or anything? I just don't know anymore. I'm just not understanding why they're not searching more. I don't understand. I'm very confused. I'm very confused. Which doesn't take a ton, but I'm just saying. So people are asking for clarification and addressing the rumors about Quinton being found. I've not heard he's been found by anybody or by law enforcement at all. Huh. Oh my gosh. Everything changes every day with this case. You think the landfill? So did law enforcement in their presser say that there was that they picked up a scent? I mean, I know that many people say that's the true, that they that they picked up a scent. I just haven't heard that, and it's driving me insane because I feel like so much was left out of the press conference. Well, it was the worst press conference I've perhaps ever seen in my life. They did? Okay. Oh, well, then that changes things for me. But it is pretty maddening. It is as maddening to think of Leilani chilling out in the house right now as it is to think that Crystal Rogers' boyfriend has custody of their son and that grandma's not allowed to see him. Wow. Then why aren't they searching? That's what I understand. You would think if they got a scent there, I would feel like, wouldn't there just be like 25 police cars just going nuts digging and stuff? And I want to know how they kept people from digging. Like, this is nuts. I will say that the FBI coffin dapper, I don't know how to say her name, so I hope that's right, said she just fears that they won't find him. And I keep feeling like I forget that when we're talking about like a, so my son just jump off his bed or something. When we're talking about somebody missing, I'm envisioning a grown adult being found in the landfill, and I'm forgetting this baby was 20 months old. I don't know who just fell, but I'm sure they're fine.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Are you all right? What did you do? Don't come out here. Why aren't you in bed?
Maybe a little help.
Right, just leave it and get in bed. I don't know. I just don't know how she jumped him in. Like, okay, here's the other thing. Do you believe, I like seeing your guys' opinion. Do you believe it was an, oh no! Oh, I almost shut the computer off. I'm like, you know what? Okay. He's going to say, that's really funny. I didn't think about it. Yeah, Sandy, I think so. That was my biggest fear. True, Denise, true. Do you guys think it was an accident or that something accidentally happened? Or do you think it was like she legitimately just, I mean, there was no accident. She did something to him, like on purpose. And what's the deal with, did they ever verify that she actually went out the night before? Because this got me cracked. Sorry, that was really funny. I forget how these pick up things. Like, what did you do? Don't come out here. I'm like, okay. That's what I wondered, Denise, because I think there might have been an argument between the boyfriend and her. But I don't know, because somebody said that she went out the night before but lied to the boyfriend about it or something like that. So there's a couple things. If she came home drunk or high or something like that, and he was crying and, you know, he wouldn't stop, maybe she did something to him. But then I think, like, it's maddening to think of somebody, like, hurting a child to that. And we have no evidence. We've been giving nothing from law enforcement that says that he was beat to death. Zero. Some of this because I believe they found it. Yeah, exactly, Melissa. Interesting. I don't think, yeah, based on a video alone, I don't think they could say that he was deceased. Because I think throwing him away wouldn't, I mean, she could have thrown anything away in the bag, you know, so they were pretty confident he's deceased, which does, I think that Melissa's right, and I think they probably found enough blood to come to that conclusion. I don't know. Melissa, I don't know. I've been going back and forth with that. One minute I think he's not, the other minute I think he is, but then you know, the babysitter seems to think that he, or, you know, has said that, you know, I guess he's not dad of the year, but he was the one that would, you know, she'd have to call him, even though Leilani's down the street to get diapers or milk or something. And they need to gather all the CCTV footage and track her. Yeah, for sure. I think there's some things on her phone too. I really do. I think there's some like, oh, exactly. Yeah. I go back and forth with Danny. Is it possible that he just, you know, went by his room and saw blankets and was like, okay, he's asleep? Or did he not even go, you know, like, I mean, there's 3 bedrooms for all those people. Oh, thanks, Pamela. You're awesome. That's possible, Denise. I mean, he was in a pack and play. Like, I originally thought that house was so big, but it's really not. 529 text was already part of it. Yeah. Yep, you're right, Melissa J, because that is the big thing, as people said. So here's the other thing. What do most of us, well, you know, most of the time, right? First thing you do is get up, you take a shower. What if she texted the babysitter from Danny's phone while he was in the shower? Hops out, walks by Quinton's room or whoever's room, and looks at the pack and play or whatever, and or changes the baby's diapers. Hey, Lana, you know, whatever. Hope you're good too. You just never know. You know what, S. Hackett, you're right. If they don't come up, if they don't find him, they're not going to have cause of death. Holy cow. I will say, I do not believe that Betty Bullhorn, or whatever you call her, or any of those people outside with the bullhorn screaming and yelling are going to make it so that Leilani confesses. And I just want to be upfront about that. Like, I wonder, Denise. I wonder. I'm going to get with Melissa and see if we can do a live together when, you know, our kids are not killing. Well, she's getting her settled, and mine, God only knows what he just dropped all over her. That's after seeing her writings. I just don't understand how somebody can beat a child to death. It just doesn't. And we still, you know, according to that thing, right, it only says there's 2 kids living there. So there is that question of why does it only say there was 2 kids? And why does it, you know, like grandpa factor into any of this? We also have to remember there's a giant camper out back. So was the camper there at that time? Could something have happened in there? There's just so much I don't understand at all. But I see, that's what I like, now that I think about it, it could make sense that he was in the shower or something. She texted him from the phone. Quint was already passed. I see Danny is barely awake at 5:15. I see the focus on the kitchen. Yeah, you know, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Panther. Like, he's rushing out. For all we know, he didn't even check, but he said it because he had to call law enforcement and say that he was he had to call law enforcement because he called it in, right? Well, here's the other interesting part. Why did he call the babysitter and not Leilani? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Some people have said that they feel that she was trying to set him up, which, if we haven't learned anything from this case yet, we can learn this. Leilani is a very, very selfish individual who doesn't care who she takes down at all. I think she has a habit. I think, something just hit me. She has a habit when she doesn't get her way, or she gets angry. Okay, play this out with me in my head. I have a feeling, where do Jake go? I have a feeling that she has a habit of not getting her way, freaking out, and trying, and in retaliation, does something to somebody else. Because look, Paul stole the $100 from mom. She freaks out because they have an argument. Leilani calls the police, tells that he stole $100. Okay, so they do that. Then we have when she did the same thing to mother, the washing machine. She calls and, hey, Kellyanne, flips out about that. Calls the police because she doesn't want to be in any type of trouble. Like, she's always setting somebody else up. She's always having somebody else. She's always trying to stay a step ahead. Yeah, always. I feel like she does these, like, if so, what's a better way if you're fighting with Danny? Quinton just happens to be awake. In her manic or whatever state she's in, of just not caring who you hurt, does something to Quinton and tries to set Danny up. It's like, and I mean, that's reaching, but I'm just saying, like, she is very calculated. You're exactly, Sandy. The house is a house of horrors. Possible, Denise. But y'all, my headphones are about to die, and I need to go make sure that my child, I need to go see what he did, which is going to be. But I'm going to see if Melissa and I can do a live together, maybe on her channel or something, and go over this together. Check out her coverage of this. She's had fantastic coverage. And we will connect tomorrow because I'm sure there's so much going on right now, y'all. And I think so too, Panther. I think you're right. I'm going to follow that a little bit. And so, yeah, check out Melissa's coverage of it. And Queen Bee has some good coverage of it. And then we will, oh, good, she's still here. Okay. And we will reconvene, and hopefully tomorrow is the day, y'all. Remember, operate on facts. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much.